Alright, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. Then today's episode. So, I think I've talked on this before, more so just mentioning it, but not actually elaborating on it. But what's up with the idea of game developers putting out less, but making the game cost more? You know, because it trips me out how, like, so many people have been brainwashed into thinking that that's okay. You know, and it tripped me out because one game I can think of that was $39.99, like off of the top of the dome, was the very first Destiny game. When that game came out, it was it was $39.99. But overall, though, they had the PvP mode, they had the PvE mode, they had strike missions, daily missions, weekly missions, like the strikes and all that stuff. They had nightfalls, they had a gang of missions, gang of armor, gang of weapons. All of these different things that you can do in the game. Like, the game had so much replay value that it ended up being one of my favorite games at the time being. And man, it trips me out how, like, we can look at a game like that, say it's one of the greatest games of all time. Like, we remember this game. We were all, like, sat down, we were playing this game. Fast forward, like, what, 10 years? Yeah, because that game came out back in 2014, so a little over 10 years. 10 years later, you see a game that'll come out $39.99. They got one mode, one map, a few weapons, and it trips me out how, like, people are okay with that. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, fam, were you guys not playing video games 10 years ago? Like, I feel like a lot of people that will say that a $39.99 video game is better than a game that came out today is better than the $39.99 video game that came out years ago, 10 years ago, or 20 years ago. 20 years ago, it's like, bruh, what a special edition of a video game is today, like, that's what you would get back then for, like, $39.99. You know, and actually one game that I can think of where it was far less than that, it was like $19.99, I believe. But anyways, it was Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition Remix. Now, I don't know where I have I know because I just recently had got the Dub Edition Remix copy. I don't know where the other copy that I have, the Dub Edition, I don't know where exactly that one is. I ain't gonna bother trying to look for it and stuff. But anyways, so the difference, though, between those two games is that, yeah, Dub Edition Remix, it had, I think it had either one or two more tracks that you can race. Not tracks, maps. A map that you could drive around and race in. And then it had a bunch of different cars that they added into the game. Like, I remember the difference. The funny thing was that although I did have Dub Edition, just the regular Dub Edition, the regular Dub Edition, I played more of Dub Edition Remix than I did Dub Edition because Dub Edition Remix had more stuff in it. And the crazy thing about it was that most games back then when they came out, it was $49.99. That was like the top price for video games back then. And it's crazy how, like, back then it was like a $49.99 video game. It came with everything that it needed. You know, it had like the extra content, it had all of that stuff. Then if you wanted to get a special editions be like, oh yeah, you're get a t-shirt, hat, some stickers, like all these different things. Like a special edition, it had stuff that you could be like, okay, like I can keep this. Nowadays, a special edition, it's like when you look at a video game like NBA 2K, for an example, their quote unquote special edition is just, oh, you get like what, 10,000 VC or 100,000 VC, and it's either going to be good for your my career player or your my team. But other than that, if you think that 100,000 VC, I guess for somebody that doesn't play NBA 2K, 100,000 VC ain't even going to be able to get you to like your, like, let's say if you're like, okay, I'm going to be mainly playing my career, so you're going to create a basketball player and just mainly be focused on that. You're not even going to be focused on my team or put no VC towards my team. The thing is this: you could use all of the VC that you would get for the special edition, and you could play a little bit of my team and possibly maybe get a little bit more VC in there. Like, let's say you play like 5-10 games of my team, right? Like online against people, whatever the case may be, and then you use the 100,000 VC on top of that VC that you got from my team, you still wouldn't reach your character's peak performance when it comes to being a basketball player. So like that's the thing that trips me out, is that you could get the special edition. There's still going to be more things. Like that's one game that I actually remember where they had the complete edition, the quote unquote complete edition. It wasn't complete. So but the game is Riders Republic. It's the Ubisoft game, and I'm like, Ubisoft, they're one of those companies where I'm like, you don't need no more money. You don't. Ubisoft, EA, what else? 2K, Activision, y'all don't need no more money. Because the crazy thing about it and that's why you'll see at times Ubisoft's games be dirt cheap. Because no, so they have it where Riders Republic, they have all this different content in the game, right? They have it set up where you could get the quote unquote complete edition, but it's only gonna be a year's worth of content. And the game's been out for like 4 or 5 years now. Like I can't remember when exactly this game came out. Hold on for a second. Let me look it up real quick. But there's years worth of content in that game, and they only give you a year worth of content. So it's like, yeah, year one. But anyways, yeah, the game came out in 2021. So the game's been out for 4 years. And you mean to tell me that the complete edition, instead of it having 4 years worth of content, it's only going to have a year? How is that the complete edition? You know, so like that's it. And the crazy thing about it is that the complete edition, let me go on Steam real quick. So these are all the different editions that you could get of this game. So if you just want to get the game, just the regular game itself, it's going to cost you $39.99. If you want to get the skate edition, which is pretty much it just comes with like the skateboarding content, and then on top of whatever content that originally came out with the game, then that's going to be $59.99. Then the 360 content, I don't know what 360 is, but overall, that's $79.99. Then the complete edition, that's $99.99. And what's crazy, it's not even the complete edition. So it's like you're spending $99 for only a year's worth of content. And then it's like on top of the other content, that's pretty much going to probably be, it's going to end up being another $100. So that's why I feel like that question needs to be asked to developers. Why is it okay to charge the same price of a video game that came out 10 years ago? And it's a game back then, 10 years ago, it had all this content, but you're charging the price of a game from back then, but you're only putting out the bare minimum. And that's the part that trips me out, where it's like, fam, I feel like at times it ain't even the bare minimum. Like anything under the bare minimum, I feel like that's at times what we're getting. You see where developers, they'll do that. They'll put out a game and it'll only be like, because what game was it where they did that? I think it was Assetto Corsa it was either the first Assetto Corsa or the second one, the Competizione, or one of those two games. But I remember people saying that game, when one of those two games had originally came out, they only had one track and one car in that game. Fam, how can you charge money for a game that only gonna have one car and one track? And that's what some developers be expecting you, like that long-term investment. Fam, I'm not trying to invest. The thing is this, when I played a video game back then, you bought a video game. You didn't invest in a video game. And I feel like nowadays, like that's what it's considered to buy a video game. You're not buying a game, you're investing in the game. Because overall, they are going, so like let's say you go and get, because I think of course, I think they were saying it was an early access game. All right, so I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt, even though I have played early access games before where they have had a lot more content in there and stuff. But yeah, overall, let's give Assetto Corsa the benefit of the doubt. My question is why is it that fans, and that's the crazy thing about it, is that in order to play Assetto Corsa and actually have fun with it, you got to go based off of the fan content, and the fan content is free. So, and that's the thing that just trips me out. And I guess, like, when you sit down and when you think of, like, video games and when games are coming out, you would think that it would be left up to the developers. How is it that the fans are coming out with better content than the developers? And my thing is this, if you look at a lot of different video games out there, if it was left up to the fans to modify or change up stuff, and I'm telling you, I feel like a lot of different video games, they would have better ratings. But that's the thing, though. Developers don't be wanting to do that. They don't be wanting to give credit, I guess, to those that are capable of putting content in their game that's better than their content. And I'm like, well, fam, if your game ain't good, then it's like you leaving it up to the fans, like you pretty much ain't got no other choice. So that's why I'm like, it trips me out when developers, they do that. They don't have it where fans can come out with their own content. They just want to have it where it's like, oh, well, we only want to come out with the content. Well, what content are you coming out with? Because my thing is this: if I pay $29.99, $39, $49, $59, $69, $79, however much money I need to pay for a game, I'm expecting a full video game. I'm not expecting an investment. Because if that's the case, then if we're going to be investing money into this game, we should have the creative control to add whatever we want to add into that game. And it trips me out where it's like you got some games that set up like that. For an example, the latest game to hit the scenes. And I know this is going to probably upset some people, me mentioning this game, but at the same time, this game only got one thing that you can do in there. And that's just to go into a map, extract with some stuff, and leave. Games like that, in my opinion, they don't really be lasting that long. I feel like the only reason why people are playing this game right now is because of big content creators playing the game. But other than that, I guarantee and I promise you, if it wasn't left up to content creators playing, if my thing is this, if content creators spoke, because there's some content creators who I feel like they don't speak the truth. They'll talk about a game and they were like, oh yeah, this is a great game. I think I see it going places. They want to give out this false hope, but they don't want to tell the truth with the game. And with games like Arc Raiders, and then you got like big content creators where they're playing this game and they know, because I think that's another thing too, is that when big content creators, when they play the game and they say nothing but good things about it, is because they know if they say bad things about it, people ain't gonna really be watching them play that game. They ain't gonna be playing the game themselves. So if they know that, oh, if I say good things about this game, people are gonna probably be watching my stream more or watching my videos more. Me, on the other hand, I don't care. I'm like, at the end of the day, I guess I'm in a position where I'm like, I'm not really, I do make money from content creating and all that stuff, but when it comes to the gaming content and stuff, like saying good things, I'm not getting paid to do that. I feel like that I have gotten paid more by being honest with the game than I have than lying to you guys about a video game. Because that's one thing about it. When it comes down to a video game coming out, if people want the blunt and honest truth of whatever video game, that's what I'm gonna have to give out. But I'm not going to be that one, that yes man, where I'm all like, oh yeah, it's the greatest game of all time. This is the best game ever. No, I'm going to keep it a buck with you guys. Games like Arc Raiders, I feel like it's good because it's a game where it's a good game when you play it with friends. But if you ain't got friends to play that game with, I feel like even then, still, it's like, fam, there's games that I played where I played it with friends, but still, it's not a game that I see myself playing all the time, like Battlefield, for an example. When that game very first came out, it was Battlefield, like we're talking on Battlefield 6, probably the best game to be on Steam at that time. I mean, yeah, I think they beat a record where it was like over 700,000 people were playing that game at one point. And that was just on Steam. They ain't mentioning Xbox, PlayStation, I'm trying to think, and any other service that game's available on, like Epic Games and stuff like that. But no, yeah, Battlefield 6, the week that game came out, it had to have been the best game of all time. Do people still be talking on this game? I feel like the only reason why people are talking about this game, and it's probably because because they came out with that free mode, RedSec, where it's pretty much Warzone. So yeah, that's the only thing that they did with that game, where I guess they're all like, okay, it's a free game. We know that, I guess from the big content creators to a small content creator, they looking for a free game to play. There you go. You got your free game. And I'm like, fam, I really do hope that, even just talking on that, I do hope that they do more with that. But if it's just going to be this battle royale mode, Battlefield, and no, the thing is this. So when you look at Battlefield's player count, hold on for a second, because I've been talking on this for a minute. But no, so when you look at their player count currently right now, yeah, they're in a good standings, but they got 315. Well, that's Battlefield 6. So I wonder if they got the difference between Battlefield 6 and RedSec. Let's see if they, okay, so RedSec, let's see. Okay, well, they don't do no thing where it showcases how many people are playing it. Well, I guess because it's considered a DLC. Well, they should consider it its own solo game and stuff. I mean, it is, but overall though, dang, that's actually crazy that Battlefield 5, never mind. That game don't got I don't know why they made it seem like that it was over 300,000 people. What's this thing where it was 300,000 people are ratings release online? No, never mind. I misread. I thought it was thought they were saying over 300,000 people are playing the game. But overall though, there are other Battlefield games that they release. And I guess you look at games like 3 Hardline 4, Yeah, it's like people ain't really Bad Company 2. People ain't really messing with that game like how they once was before. I feel like because of Battlefield 6 being now, that's why everybody is focused on that game. They're playing that game. But overall, though, I'm like, fam. Oh, so actually, no, I think that this was like at one. No, actually, I don't think that was like Battlefield 5. Hold on for a second. No, yeah, it wasn't. No, Battlefield 6 is probably their most successful game. But anyways, going back to the player count. So 315,000 people are playing this game right now. 441,000 people played this game in the 24-hour peak, and they reached an all-time peak of 747,000 people 30 days ago when this game had released. Now, my question is, what happened to, because pretty much they lost like half of their player count. Why did they lose half of their player count? Because the one thing, that they focused on was this red sec mode. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, fam, you guys got campaign, you got PvP, you could have had room for a third mode, whether it was like a wave mode or a co-op mode or something like there could have been, but no, instead of doing something that actually could have had a lot of different people playing the game, you guys decide to come out with Red Sec, where it's pretty much just I feel like that Red Sec, it's like Call of Duty had released a Battlefield, or like if somebody released a Battlefield mod for Call of Duty. Because the only difference is that you can tear down buildings in Red Sec. Maybe fly some jets, helicopters, and stuff like that. But other than that, there's really not that much of a difference. Like the core game is just, pretty much be the last one to survive. Or if you're playing it with a group, be the last group to survive. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, fam, when a person is like, when a game comes out, it can't be like another game. And that's one thing, like comparing video games from back then to now, you've seen where like you can play Midnight Club and Need for Speed and it's two different games. You can play Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and Bad Company 2 and it's two different games. I'm trying to think of some other games out there. You can play games like Street Fighter, I guess, like maybe Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat now, like they kind of got the idea of like, okay, our games gotta, like, they can be the same, like have some similar, traits and stuff, but they gotta be different in things. But anyways, but I mean, they did kind of have like their own things going on, like Tekken, Mortal Kombat, and Street Fighter. But I feel like at the same time, though, some people would argue and say, no, them games were exactly the same back then. But yeah, when you look at them games now, it's like you see all the different stuff going on with it. I have to say, like, it's games like that where I'm like, fam, those are the games that need to be like, okay, if I'm making a video game, that's a game that I gotta think of as an example. Even if it ain't even a fighting game, I'm like, still though, what if I'm coming out with a racing game? I'm like, what different things can I do, but also at the same time, like, charge it at a reasonable price. And I'm like, if I feel that my game, because that's the thing, I feel like some developers, they be taking advantage of that. They're all like, oh, the price range, because Battlefield 6, that's not a $69.99 video game. It's not. So they have, I guess, for somebody that hasn't played Battlefield or don't really know too much about Battlefield, so they have it where campaign is probably like 5 hours. So like if you sit down, you can probably play all of campaign in one day. But after that, they have it where you uninstall campaign and then you're just left up playing multiplayer. Fam, that was the last Battlefield game. They came out, so for those that, like, if you want a little bit of a history lesson with Battlefield and their series and stuff, so the last game that they came out with was one called 2042. That game was just pretty much a multiplayer simulator. They had Portal, which was like, it was like a mixture of all the different Battlefield games, like the soldiers and the weapons and all that stuff. I think they might have changed up the maps too, but anyways, but it was that, and then just regular old PvP, where it's like Team Deathmatch, Conquest, Rush. But other than that, it's like, fam, it wasn't like this unique game like Bad Company 2 or Battlefield 3 and 4 and stuff. It's like, nah, it's a game where it's like, okay, what do I do now after I did this? I didn't play multiplayer. I guess, like, yeah, if you're playing to rank up and things, then that's about it. But other than that, it's like, fam, it gets to a point where it's like, okay, I'm getting bored. There needs to be other modes and different stuff to do in this game. But if there's not, then I'm like, fam, what am I playing this game for? So that's what I'm saying. I'm like, when developers, when they do stuff like that, it confuses the life out of me, where it's like they just come out with just one thing, and then like, because no, the game that did that is Arc Raiders. That's the latest game to hit the scenes. They only got one mode in that game, and it trips me out because I'm like, fam, there's all these different games where they have all these different things. It even could have been some stuff like Fortnite. Because no, that's one. It's funny because I had did a video where I talked on Arc Raiders, and I mentioned the video game Fortnite and how people still to this day play that game. And I just think that it was a Fortnite hater, because I'm like, fam, if it comes down between creating a game like Arc Raiders and creating a game like Fortnite came out 8 years ago, and that game, hold on for a second, let's just see. It might be a little bit less now, but let's just see where their player count is at. Okay, so yeah, 1,548,000 people are playing that game right now versus Arc Raiders. Let's see the player count for that game. 355,000 people are playing that game. So at the end of the day, I guess like it's really left up to the developer and stuff, like whether you want a big game or a small game. But in this day and age, you can't. There's no such thing as like coming out with a small game, because I feel like every developer, it's like you want to come out with a game that's gonna make you rich. You know, I guess if not, then that's why you'll come out probably with a free game and just be like, oh, I ain't trying to get rich and things. So then that's when it'd be developers like that where they're all like, yeah, I'll just come out with a free game and stuff. But then you got, if my thing is this, if you're charging money for a video game, because no, Fortnite at one point in time, you had to pay for that game. And then I think that it got to a point where it was all like, hey, but there's still areas of that game that you got to pay for, like the battle pass or season pass, wherever they call it. Like you still got to pay for that, I guess, like if you do want to get that and things. But I'm like, fam, I got the characters I want to play as. Like I'm chilling. I'm like, I ain't got no reason to buy no characters and stuff. But overall though, I'm like, yeah, there might be a character here and there where it's like, you know, but at least with that, it's like it don't really cost all that much. But other than that, I'm like, but with the amount of content that they have in that game, yeah, if it comes down between either leaving it up to the fans or creating a bunch of content myself, I want a game where people are going to be playing it for a long period of time, not playing it up until their favorite content creator, they stop playing it and now they have moved on. Because this is what's going to happen with Arc Raiders. I feel like that might not clicked in some people's head, but there's going to be a game that comes out where everybody's going to be talking about it, whether it might be the next Call of Duty, another mode in Battlefield, wherever the case may be, but people are going to overall be more attracted to that game. They're gonna be like, oh, I want to play that game. Like, let's say for an example, Rockstar Games was like, we're gonna be re-releasing and remastering the Midnight Club series. So Midnight Club 1, 2, and Dub Edition Remix is all gonna be available on Steam starting today. Let's just say for an example. I know that if they did some stuff like that, I'm like, that would be, for one, I would be mad, because I'm like, fam, I done jumped up and bought the PlayStation 2 edition. I mean, I'll, you know, keep it for the nostalgic reasons and stuff, you know, but overall though, I'm like, man, that's like, y'all, you guys couldn't have released this a little bit sooner, but they should do that since they delayed Grand Theft Auto 6. But anyways, but no, so let's say that they were gonna do that. They're like, we pretty much gonna do like a trilogy series, like how they did with Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice Cities, and San Andreas, but we're gonna do a Midnight Club like trilogy remastered thing and stuff. So they come out with it, all the original music, cars, and all that stuff, and then it's released on Steam, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, everywhere. It's pretty much released everywhere. You even go to the Nintendo Switch, all that stuff, it's released everywhere. I guarantee and I promise you, whether it's that or whether it's the next Call of Duty or whether it's, but you're not going to see some of your favorite content creators playing that game. They're going to be playing whatever video game is trending. And I'm like, it's going to get to a point where Arc Raiders, the only thing that they can be going based off of is updates, season passes, and stuff like that. But eventually, I'm like, people are going to get tired of that, and they're going to be like, okay, I'm not trying to have it where every time when I play this game, I'm having to spend money to play it and stuff. What new, I guess, playable content are you going to have for those that are trying to play this game and have fun with it? Because if the only thing you're going to be doing is, oh, we add this new cosmetic outfit, we add that new cosmetic outfit. Meanwhile, Fortnite's like, hey, we just introduced this mode and that mode. Like, fam, let's just overall talk on Fortnite over the years, right? So Fortnite, when that game originally came out, it was this game that you have to pay for, where is this tower defense zombie wave game. So you went up against waves of zombies, but at the same time you build a tower. I thought that mode was cool, but at the same time, I'm like, there could be a little bit more done to that game, and that's what they ended up doing. They came out with the Battle Royale mode, and then eventually after that, they was like, okay, well, we're gonna come out with this creative mode where we're gonna leave it up to the fans to create stuff. Then shortly after that, then they was like, okay, let's do Fortnite racing, Lego Fortnite. Let's do a PvP, like some Counter-Strike stuff, because I think that was like one of the last few modes that they added. Yeah, and then like the fans, they're all like, oh, let's add prop hunt, let's add what else? I'm trying to think of some other modes that they added. Yeah, they got a gang of modes. Like it gets to a point where it's overwhelming on how many modes that they have in that game. But yeah, at the end of the day, I'm like, fam, if it comes down between that or Arc Raiders, yeah, bro, I'm sticking with Fortnite. You know, so at least if I'm a developer, I'm like, I want that game that's gonna make me billions of dollars, not millions. Where it's like eventually the millions is gonna run out, and now I'm selling the game for like $2-3 on Steam during like not even during the holidays. It's just a random Monday in the middle of March, and it's like, oh, well, why is this game $2? Oh, well, let's see. Oh, that's why, because ain't nobody playing the game. The developers want more people to play. So yeah, bro. But the thing is this. With that game, with Arc Raiders, I'm like, there's a lot more that they can add to that game versus just having it where it's just an extraction shooter mode. And one game that I can think of where that game, it died off a lot faster than it blew up was the day before. And the reason why is because they decided, oh, at the last minute, let's make it into an extraction shooter. Now, I guess they did kind of let people know about this game before they jumped up and buy. I wonder if they have like a thing where it lets you know how many people had played. They probably, yeah, day before Steam player. Well, I think it was only released on Steam and stuff. But anyways, dang, only 38,000 people. Now then they say that was like the most wishlist game, and it was probably after, yeah, well, I think because it was probably a lot of people was even fooling with that game after it had came out. But overall, though, that's one game that I think of when I think of extraction shooters. And I'm like, man, you know, people doing that with them extraction shooters, just having it where it's just only that and they ain't trying to do nothing else to that game. I'm like, yeah, bro, because I'm like, with the day before, fam, they could have added a campaign mode. They could have added a zombie wave mode. They could have did so much with that game. And then what trips me out, another game that I can think of where it's like, I mean, the game did have a lot to do when it had very first came out, but then they still continued on adding stuff. And I'm like, fam, this is another good example of a game where it's like when they sit down, no, not even so much as them sitting down listening to the fans, they're all like, we just gonna keep giving you guys more and more content, and we gonna have it where the game, it ain't gonna, yeah, because the game costs $59.99 outside of sales and deals and stuff. But no, if you wait for this game to go on sale, and it's probably gonna be on sale for a little bit because of Black Friday and the holidays and all that stuff. But No Man's Sky, that's a video game where I was playing that game a lot earlier this year, and just the amount of stuff that they have you do. Then out of nowhere, they decide to drop this update where you can now build your own ship. Yeah, bro, when you have stuff like that in a video game where you can play it for a long period of time, those are the types of games that you want, I guess, content creators, because I'm like, that's a game where you can, I have a whole channel based off of No Man's Sky, because I just know that there's all these different planets, all these different ships that I can build, all these different missions and different things I can explore and do in that game. Arc Raiders, eventually, if I were to build a channel off of Arc Raiders, that would have to probably be the most difficult channel, because I'm like, it would mainly be videos of me talking about what new content that's coming out for the game or new things. But other than that, it's like, it's just gonna be the same stuff over and over again, versus games like No Man's Sky. You can go to a bunch of different planets on there, and it seemed like that it would be kind of crazy to find the same planet, but if not that, it's like you're gonna always be coming across different planets, different alien life. And then with the customization options with building the ship, you see where a lot of people be playing games like that versus a game like, I probably not so much now, since it's like because it's been kind of slow with No Man's Sky, because they did that update earlier this year with that building ships and stuff. But let's see how many people. Oh, it's still it's a lot of people playing the game. 20,000 people. Dang, there was like all-time peak was 212,000 in 9.3 years. You would think it would be a little bit more now, but I guess not. I don't know. But anyways, well, no, actually, hold on for a second. I wonder if they have like, no, they don't let you know, based off of, yeah, it seems like, yeah, it's like they just reached 31,000. Like that's been their peak the whole year and stuff. But overall, though, I'm like, you'll see a lot of content being done, and that's what I want. I want a game where you could do a lot of content off of it, not a game where it's like, okay, you play the mode one time and then that's it. It's good for like a TikTok, and then that's all that you can really do within the things, a TikTok and a few streams. But anyways, with that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. Stay tuned for the next episode. Like, subscribe, viewing this on YouTube. Follow or subscribe if you're viewing this on a podcast streaming service. And peace.